Alright, so I just bought this new little sewing machine and I'm going to show it off. It's I guess it's a little hobby sewing machine. I paid $21 for it, and I've been playing with it a little bit, and I actually ended up my work pants with them. They did alright, it wasn't too bad. I'll show you what the hem looks like. It's not perfect, you know, but it did a fairly decent job for stitching. That's about the only stitch it does, though. But you know, if you don't do a lot of heavy sewing, you only need it for basic stuff. Little sewing machine's pretty good for that. Alright, so this is a little sewing machine out of its box. It's not very big at all, and kind of give you an idea about how big this is. This is a 12-inch ruler. I'm sticking right here beside it. Yeah, see, it's not big at all. It's a decent little sewing machine. And it's got a little bobbin. This stuff, whenever I got it, was already set up. It had a little bobbin on it. It was already threaded through the things here, and had another little bobbin right down in there. And that's got a little thing up top where you can put thread, a spool of thread if you want to, right there. Just like this. Of course, you got to thread it the right way. So when you go to thread this thing, of course it comes already threaded with white thread, so this might be a little bit hard to see. But you send the thread through this little thing here, and then over this right here. Then you send it through this little thread guide here. And you send it up through this little arm here, going from back to front that way, and then down. Seems like it's come out of this little thread guide here, apparently. So I'm going to have to fix that in a minute. But anyway, you go from here to this little thread guide here and down. And when you send it through the needle, it goes that way. Don't send it through the needle that way, send it that way. Okay, so this is how you thread the needle in the bobbin. Basically, I'm using a needle threader here, which incidentally would also be useful for this, because the hole in this is so small, it's hard to thread that. So you can use a needle threader to get the thread through this one if you have to. Alright, I always have trouble getting this thing in the needle. And by the way, it comes with 2 needles in case you break one. I broke one yesterday. Alright, so I've got the needle threader and the needle. Now we can see that. See it sticking through the needle there? Alright. Uh-oh. Okay, so I got that sticking through the needle. I'm going to put the thread through the needle threader. Which is not easy to do either, but it's easier than putting it in the needle. And then I just pull the thread through the needle like that. Okay, and then I have to take the thread, put it under the foot, into the back, like that. I'm going to give it a little bit of slack there. Okay, and I'm going to put that down. Alright, and now I'm going to do the bobbin. Basically just drop the bobbin in there. Put the thread in here. This is called a thread gap right here. And then I'm going to put a little guard back on there. Trying to make sure that I don't get the thread all messed up. Push that down a little bit. Get in there. Because I don't want to catch the thread with the cover. Alright, so that's how you thread this thing. Alright, so this thing is now threaded, but I can't do anything with it until I plug the stuff in. So what we got here, this is for the put pedal, and this is for the power. And by the way, it also does take 4 AA batteries if you want to run it with batteries. It's just the battery compartment is on the bottom. Just take that off right there. There's the batteries, or where you put the batteries. I don't have any to put in there. So let me put the compartment cover back on. Incidentally, you might be wondering how you would wind the thread onto the bobbin. Basically, this right here, it comes out somehow. I did it yesterday. There we go. And you just stick the bobbin on the back of this. Right here. And of course you hook up your thread to the spool, which is up top, and then you just turn it on and it winds the bobbin, but you'll have to guide it with your finger. Guide the thread with your finger, otherwise it might get tangled up back here in the back. So that's how you do that. You just twist it and it pops out, or push in and twist it to keep it closed. Alright, now here's the foot pedal. Right here. And this is the end of the foot pedal, which you plug into the foot pedal jack. Alright, foot pedal jack goes in, whoops, right there. Okay, and then the power jack, obviously, that's the power jack. That's the end of the power jack. Power jack goes in the bottom, which is 6 volt, 800 milliamps, tip positive, in case you ever have to replace it. Alright, so let me plug this thing in and I'll show you how it works. Alright, so I've got this kind of set up to where I'm going to do my sewing on this part of my desk right here. And this button will actually turn it off or on, or I can use the foot pedal. And this button is set to the low setting so that it doesn't go too fast, because I'm not really used to sewing yet. But if you have the button out like that, then it sews a lot faster. So I usually do it slow because I don't want to make mistakes, because I'm not really that good at sewing with a sewing machine. And this is my first ever sewing machine, by the way. It's been a lot of fun to try to figure this thing out. So anyway, like I said, you've got your thread from the needle back here towards the back. You got your thread from the bobbin through the thread gap right here, and it just hangs here. And when you start this up, it's going to catch the bobbin thread, so you don't have to worry about that. Like I said, all you got is the bobbin sitting in there with the thread coming out of the bobbin into the thread gap. That's it. There's no special way you have to put it in there, except you got to make sure it doesn't catch that cover. Now that I took the cover off, I got to fix it again. Alright, so we're going to hem up some pants today. I hand sewed these a while back, and I'm going to try to finish them up. It's my little girl Harvest Moon. Let's see here. Put these up too high. Gotta raise the foot. Put the pants under them. Put the needle up first.
Maybe we can erase.
Alright, so now I'm going to show you how well this little sewing machine does. It doesn't too bad. It didn't work too well in my pajama pants, but we're going to try it on these denim. I think they'll work better. Let's see, I got to plug in the power. Give me that power cord right there.
Okay.
Can't get started unless I got power. I can put the foot down.
Thank you.
Alright. So now I'm going to hem my pants. And I hand hemmed these originally the first time. Didn't do too good, so I'm going to go ahead and hem these with the sewing machine the rest of the way. See how it does. I gotta keep an eye on it and make sure, because I don't want to put needles in here. Last time I put a needle in here to hem at pants, I bent my sewing machine needle. I broke it. And this is the last needle I got, so I don't want to mess it up. So I kind of hold it by hand and I measure it with my eye to see if the width is right. Certainly not a perfect sew, but again, good enough for my purposes. And all that's left now is to do the other side, and we'll see how that goes.